What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you with another one. And this is kind of crazy, y'all. And I know I say that, but this is kind of crazy. And the reason why it's kind of crazy is because apparently the Supreme Court of Arizona has reinstated a Civil War era abortion ban. Now, Donald Trump recently came out and said that he wanted all the states to basically be the ones that decided, on the issue of abortion. And that's whatever. That's one way of looking at it. I was kind of disappointed, but I guess maybe politically that's the best move for Donald Trump at this time. But let me tell you, man, I'm super, pro life. I'm anti-abortion. The only thing I can imagine abortion being, health when the only time I can ever consider it being health care is to save the mother's life. That's my opinion though, and everybody's got an opinion, right? So let's get into this. Before we do, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Join the flock, you guys. The water's warm and we'd love to have you. And it does a lot to help the channel, trust me. The 1864 law prohibits all abortions in the state except to save the mother's life. See, that makes sense to me. That to me makes sense. A nearly 2-year legal battle over abortion in Arizona ended on April 9th with the state Supreme Court's ruling that a pre statehood ban on most abortions is legally enforceable in the state. The 1864 law bans all abortions in Arizona, save those performed to save the life of the mother. Now, the kind of messed up thing here is that you know how it is. Twitter has just lost their minds over this. You've got people talking about how now this is the Handmaid's Tale, and all this other trash. But it is what it is, man. That's what happens when the states get to decide it. It says the 4-2 ruling reverses a lower court's opinion that a 15-week abortion limit passed in 2022 supersedes the older law's abortion restrictions. The Arizona Court of Appeals had held that the two laws could be harmonized, allowing doctors to perform abortions up to 15 weeks, but also permitting the prosecution of non physicians who perform abortions in the state. We conclude that the 2022 law does not create a right to or otherwise provide independent statutory authority for an abortion that repeals or restricts the 1864 ban, but rather is predicated entirely on the existence of a federal constitutional right to an abortion since disclaimed by Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, the Arizona Supreme Court wrote in its majority opinion. Absent the federal constitutional abortion right, and because the 2022 law does not independently authorize abortions, there is no provision in federal or state law prohibiting the 1864 ban's operation, the court added, holding that the ban is now enforceable. The law is slated to take effect on April 23rd. Now, as you can imagine, everybody is losing their minds. It's like when they were trying to get Disney World to get out of Florida. Like this is something so simple. This might be overturned later, but for right now, if you're pro-life, this is a pretty big win, and it's a pretty big deal. Arizona was one of several states thrown into turmoil by the U.S. Supreme Court's June 2022 Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Upon Roe's reversal, the state's then Attorney General Mark Brnovich, a Republican, said the 1864 law should be enforced. Based, man. Based. I mean, just based. At the time, excuse me, at the time, the law was permanently blocked due to a 1973 injunction that was granted in the wake of Roe. Mr. Brnovich filed a motion to lift the injunction, but attorneys representing Planned Parenthood of Arizona argued that the state's more recent abortion laws, including the 15-week limit, suggested that the state's lawmakers intended to allow greater access to abortion in the state than the Civil War era law permits. Man, all you have to do, all you have to do is go on to X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it and just type in Arizona, and you can put in abortion too if you really want to do that, and you're going to see leftists losing their ever loving minds. I mean, they are just losing it. It says Pima County Superior Court Judge Kelly Johnson sided with the Attorney General, ruling that the 1864 law could be enforced. The decision brought Arizona's abortion industry to a halt for 2 weeks before the state's Court of Appeals blocked the lower court's ruling. Months later, in December 2023, the three-judge panel issued its harmonized ruling. Arizona's Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs responded to the latest ruling with disdain. You know what? Fuck that bitch. Because straight up, she's a bitch. She's the one that was governing, she was overseeing and supervising her own election. Because that's fair. Because that's fair, you know, that's fair. It's ridiculous. It is a dark day in Arizona, she wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Oh, give me a break, sweetheart. We are just 14 days away from one of the most extreme abortion bans in the country. But my excuse me, but my message to Arizona women is this: I won't rest and I won't stop fighting until we have secured the right to abortion. That is my promise to you. Yeah, that's great. That's absolutely great. You know, people like this need to be patronized because they think that your lack of responsibility that creates a life is somehow healthcare. They somehow think that murder is a right, and it's not. Okay, you're not killing an oak tree. You're not, removing a lifeless thing. It is something growing inside of you that has life. The moment of conception is the moment that that thing started having life, and and you just leave that thing alone, and it's gonna come out 9 months later, or 8.5 months later, whatever, and it's gonna be a human. It's not gonna be anything else. It's not gonna be a tortoise. It's not gonna be anything but a human. So let's stop pretending like it's not murder. Please. Please. Because when we get into this argument, it's always the same thing. That the left tries to dehumanize what's actually going on. An abortion is the murder of an innocent baby. Okay? But when you call it a fetus and you say it's just a clump of cells and all this other trash, I'm a clump of cells. You're a clump of cells. Okay? If you really want to get into it, what are you gonna say? The quickening is when it's okay to do it. That's when life starts. The quickening. That's ridiculous. Okay. The White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who's a very astute intellectual for sure, likewise called the ban extreme and dangerous. While Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona said the court's ruling was devastating for women in Arizona, and Rep. Juan Ciscomani said the decision was a disaster for women and providers. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. In Arizona, our 15-week law protected the rights of women and new life. New life? Really? That's so stupid. It respected women and the difficult decision of ending a pregnancy, one I will never personally experience and won't pretend to understand, he said in a statement. Give me a break. Seriously, I mean, give me a fucking break. Touting his record as a strong supporter of empowering women to make their own healthcare choices. It's not healthcare, it's murder. It's murder. And an opponent of a national abortion ban, the congressman called on Arizona state lawmakers to address the matter. Meanwhile, others celebrated the court's ruling as a victory for life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Life is a human right, and today's decision allows the state to respect that right and fully protect life again, just as the legislature intended, said Alliance Defending Freedom senior counsel Jake Warner, who argued the case before the court. I want to buy that guy a beer. Life begins at conception. At just 6 weeks, unborn babies' hearts begin to beat. At 8 weeks, they have fingers and toes. And at 10 weeks, their unique fingerprints begin to form, Mr. Warner noted. Arizona's pro-life law has protected unborn children for over 100 years, and the people of Arizona, through their elected representatives, have repeatedly affirmed that law, including as recently as 2022. We celebrate the Arizona Supreme Court's decision that allows the state's pro-life law to again protect the lives of countless innocent unborn children. Yes, thank you. Not feti, not fetuses, not fetus, babies, children, humans. And Chanel Prunier, Students for Life Action's vice president of political affairs, said the ruling gives Arizona's precious preborn babies a chance to breathe. Still, she emphasized that pro-life advocates' job in the Grand Canyon state wasn't over. The Arizona Supreme Court chose life today, ensuring abortions are done under very limited circumstances, and preborn babies have the chance at life. But the abortion lobby in Arizona is far from beaten, Ms. Prunier said. Despite this ruling from the Arizona Supreme Court, the pro-life generation must mobilize to ensure that voters are educated and aware of the unbelievable barbarism that Arizona's abortion ballot initiative will write into the Constitution if successful. It's 100% true. 100% true. These people are not going to stop. They're going to keep trying. They're going to keep trying. The reference ballot initiative slated for Arizona's general election ballot would establish a constitutional right to abortion in the state up until the point of fetal viability or the point at which a baby can survive outside the womb. That's crazy. That is crazy. The Arizona Supreme Court's decision follows former President Donald Trump's Monday announcement that he believes the legality of abortion should be decided by the states, not the federal government. That's a safe decision, Mr. President. Not one that I agree with, but that's a safe decision, I guess. I guess you're trying to get reelected, and I'm not with that. I gotta, because you see, the left loves saying that we're in a cult, right? Well, I'm not. I'm not in a cult. None of us are in a cult. When he did that, I didn't like that, and I'm calling it out because I didn't like it. Kari Lake, Arizona's Republican Senate candidate, echoed that stance Tuesday, holding that the 1864 ban was out of step with Arizonans on abortion. Really? I wholeheartedly agree with President Trump. This is a very personal issue that should be determined by each individual state and her people, she said in a statement. I oppose today's ruling, and I am calling on Katie Hobbs and the state legislature to come up with an immediate common sense solution that Arizonans can support. Ultimately, Arizona voters will make the decision on the ballot come November. Wow, I am super disappointed in Kari Lake. I can't believe she said that. That made me do a double take. Well, there you have it, guys. Wow. A bunch of people are disappointing me tonight. Jeez. Well, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good social media stuff. It's a dopamine hit every time I see it, And all you haters that keep watching for whatever reason just insult me. Thank you for staying with me. I appreciate you too. Even if you don't comment or share, or like, or whatever, I appreciate you guys being here with me. Stay safe and stay based.